guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany and today I'm going to be chatting a little bit about crystals and just the different forms they can come in, because I feel like that's a really diverse topic that you don't really hear much about, so that's what I'm going to do. The kind of basic differentiation you can find is between tumbled and polished and natural. You've got like your natural, got all of that texture and stuff, like organic feeling, and then you have some that are tumbled, like this piece of fluorite, which it's kind of rounded, it's smooth. So yeah, that's kind of the two forms you can find them in. And with raw crystals and like natural, you can find different types. So like my rose quartz chunk, it's just kind of been like chipped off. It's got some nice shape to it, and you can tell that it's been like shaped a little bit, but it's still pretty rough and natural. You can also get points, like this quartz point, and you can see that it's like totally rough on one end, and then it comes to a nice little taper at the top. And what you get with these is a sense of directional energy. So these are really good for if you need to be pointing energy somewhere, like if you are like taking energy in, you can hold the point towards yourself. If you're trying to get energy out, you can point it away. You can point in the direction of the element that you're trying to work with. Sometimes they have double points, so it'll have like this kind of cut taper on both ends. You can also get like geode pieces, like this amethyst, and you can see the rock, and then you can see where they have like shaped it to be a nice little cutout. These ones are nice because they're little tiny natural points. You can actually find a lot of these in like Winners, Home Sense, places like that as decoration. So just a tip for you there. And then an even more natural piece is what I'm assuming is quartz. And my boyfriend actually found this for me but this is like pretty much as natural as you can get. And there's also like no one right way to have your crystals. They all have different uses, they all have different benefits, and it's about what you prefer, what works best for you. Also, kind of in the natural raw crystal, this is a candle holder that I actually did get from Winners. And so it's obviously been shaped to be a candle holder, but it's still that really nice raw rose quartz, kind of similar to this piece. And so with a giant chunk like this, I find, because it's so rounded, it feels like it holds the energy pretty close to itself. It's so grounding with how heavy it is too. So I really enjoy that. Now on the other end of the spectrum, you get tumbled crystals, and I'm just using a few examples here. I've got the fluorite that I've already showed. I've got a piece of aventurine and an opalite. And so with these ones, they've been tumbled and polished, and they come in like as many different shapes as you can possibly find. You can find some really rounded ones. You can find some that are kind of squared off and like cubed. And these are really nice, I find, for using in crystal grids or with like putting them in things, like if I'm putting it into a spell jar or in a bowl stuff like that. They fit so nicely, and I really enjoy how different but also uniform they can be. And like, this is one of the most common like forms that you'll find them in shops. Yeah, you can find them for not too expensive. You can find them pretty cheap, which is an added benefit. And the reason I included this one is because opalite is a man-made crystal, and I feel like they get such a bad rap for being like not real, but they totally are. And like, the fact that one came from nature and the other one came from a lab doesn't change the fact that it's a crystalline structure. And I'm not going to get into the chemistry of it right now, just because that's a whole other ballgame. But like, the crystal structure itself has like physical and metaphysical properties, regardless of where it came from. And so I find that really discouraging when people kind of bash on man-made crystals, because it's also more sustainable than mining. Again, whole other ballgame if you want to get into the ethics and sustainability of crystals. Might make more videos like this. But yeah, I think it's just important to note that, like, regardless of where it comes from, it still has energy, it still has power, and really at the end of the day, intention over everything else. So it's how you use it, and the energy you put into it, and the energy that you put through it that really matters, you know? With tumbled stones, you can also get them shaped, like this obsidian heart. And these ones I find are really nice if you have a really specific goal in mind. Like for this one, I wanted it for emotional grounding, so that's why I got a heart. And hearts are pretty common, like, across the board. But I also have a little piece of, I'm assuming it's opalite, but it's shaped like an angel. I keep it at my bedside as kind of like a guardian angel sort of thing. So yeah, when they're shaped, it can just like narrow the focus of what you want to be using it for. I don't know, I think it's like, just because it's been carved and handled by human hands doesn't mean it's any less potent than like a supernatural piece that came out of someone's garden, you know? So yeah, you really do have just two opposite ends of the spectrum, and they both work in totally different ways. And that's what's so great about crystals, is there's no one way to use them, and there's no correct way to use them. And I find the biggest difference between something like this and something like this, in terms of energy, is something like this, like, you can almost feel the direction that it's going, and it's a lot more directional. Whereas with pieces like these, I feel like they hold a lot more energy like around them, and so they're really nice for if you want to be keeping the energy around you, and like especially if you're doing like a grid or something, these are really nice for like making the shape. The energy just feels so present and stable, and so it's almost like, yeah, like a little aura around it, because essentially that's what it is, but it just feels so much more contained. Whereas with, again, like pieces like this, I can feel the energy is going in a direction, if that makes any sense at all. Anything you can think of, really, you can do with crystals. And they're actually how I got into witchcraft, like, from the very beginning. You know, you see them, they're pretty, you can use them as decoration, And especially if you're not like open about your craft, like the people around you just see pretty rocks as decoration wherever you put them, and it totally works. And they can be nice little gifts to give to people. A lot of people are more understanding of crystals, I find at least. Yeah, I think that's kind of all I've got going on here. I definitely want to do more crystal videos, just because if you cannot tell by my title of Caffeine and Crystals, it's a little important to me. So, thank you so very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.